This first clip shows us a female manager who was closing up after her night shift at a costume shop in Reno, Nevada. Everything seemed ordinary until something deeply unsettling happened. The store was quiet, the lights dimmed, and rows of mannequins stood silently around the room, dressed in costumes from previous displays. As she walked past one of them on her way to the exit, she suddenly noticed something that made her stop in her tracks. The mannequin's head appeared to slowly turn toward her. At first, she thought it must have been her imagination. Mannequins can sometimes look unnervingly lifelike under certain lighting, especially late at night when a place is completely empty. But as she stood there staring at it, trying to convince herself nothing had happened, the head suddenly jerked sharply to the right. That was enough. Terrified, she ran out of the store and refused to return to work there again. Stories like this often circulate around mannequins and dolls, objects that are designed to resemble human figures but remain completely motionless. In many cultures and paranormal traditions, objects shaped like people are sometimes believed to act as vessels for spirits or supernatural energy. While there is no scientific evidence supporting these claims, the idea has appeared in folklore for centuries and continues to fuel countless ghost stories and urban legends. Whether what she saw was simply a mechanical shift, a trick of lighting, or something she could never explain, the experience left her convinced that something in that shop wasn't entirely lifeless. Whether that mannequin moved by something ghostly or not may never be proven. But in the next case, the truth was very real, and it only got more horrifying the longer detectives looked at it. Quick interruption. If you're enjoying this video, why not hit that subscribe button? We're on a mission to hit 500,000 subscribers, and when we do, 3 lucky fans will win a limited edition CreepyVids hoodie or shirt. Right now, 61.4% of you watching haven't subscribed yet. It's completely free, and your support helps us make even more awesome videos. So, don't miss out. Subscribe now, and let's get back to the video.
Hey, what happened?
I don't know.
Did you just come home?
Yeah, I was down the street walking my dog and they shot him.
That's it.
I don't know what happened. I couldn't touch my kids. For real.
On October 29, 2022, deputies in Escambia County, Florida, were called to a house on Medford Avenue after multiple 911 calls reported gunfire.
What we got? 331, we need EMS and round gunshot victim inside the house. Anybody else in here?
No, my dog's in the back room. Please don't go in there.
I got a chest seal, I'm gonna go get it.
By the time officers arrived, 26-year-old Jesse Geoke Hagan was lying inside the home in a pool of blood, barely conscious, and suffering from multiple gunshot wounds.
Where you shot, bud?
Right here. Car 140.
You said you got a chest seal? Yeah.
Paramedics rushed to save him, while deputies turned to the one person still there with him, his 22-year-old girlfriend, Alyssa Blackburn.
Hey, what happened?
I was down the street walking my dog and they shot him.
Who shot him?
I don't know.
Did you find him like this?
Yeah, I just had to kick in the back door because nobody was knocking on.
So do you live here?
Yeah,
Who is that gentleman to you?
it's my boyfriend.
Are you the one that called 911?
No.
Who called 911? Because it was a female.
I called 911 because I heard the gunshot.
Why are you lying to me? You understand me? Stop. Don't start lying to me. You understand what's standing there? I need
I'm
proof.
the one who did it. What are you
Then go tell me you didn't call.
You're gonna get me shot out here. You realize that? We're Montclair. It's my life too.
What's your last name?
Blackbird. I don't think you realize that I'm risking you and calling y'all for real.
Almost immediately, parts of her story started to fall apart. She gave conflicting answers about the 911 call, changed details when pressed, and seemed to know more than she was willing to admit.
Before you left to walk the dog, was he by himself?
Yeah, no, there wasn't nobody else here.
And he wasn't like that, right?
No, he was not like that. He was fine. He was in the room, and he was not bleeding on the ground.
Who else lives here?
This is, I don't even know whose house this is. I just got here like 2 days ago. Real shit. I swear to God, I just moved here. All my stuff's in that back bedroom, but my dog's in there.
But the glass, was it broken before you left? Was it out here when you left to walk the dog? Okay.
Oh my god.
Just step over here. Sure.
Is he gonna be okay?
I don't know, honey. I'm sure.
Oh my.
He's talking to us, so yes, because he just gave us a bunch of information. Okay.
I don't want nobody to see me. Oh my
I can
god.
see you. Okay.
Okay.
Let's call your parents. Okay.
Because Alyssa appeared so overwhelmed, deputies were unable to get any new information from her beyond the story she had already given. Instead, officers at the scene began discussing what they had learned so far, and as they compared details, a few things quickly started to stand out.
So I wonder, earlier it was a drive-by, this was Target House, and then maybe somebody came back.
Bro, it looks like he got shot in the house.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're casing dogs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Whoever, either they bucked up in the house or they know him and let him in the house.
Yeah, but her time frame is way off, bro. That's the problem. Is she's like, I asked her who called. She's like, not me. I'm like, it was a female, honey. She's like, okay, I called. And then I said, stop fucking lying to me. This is serious. She's saying that she left to go walk the dog, came home to this. And the time frame is not 4 hours ago. Because she's saying she heard the shots.
So it wasn't a.
I guarantee you it
If we
was.
can find some cameras.
I heard 2 gunshots about 10 o'clock this morning, and I saw a little black car come and go and come back. You know, I don't know if they had anything to do with it, but it was like they just took off from right over here.
Did you hear some gunshots?
Yeah, I heard 4 of them.
Over here?
I just seen a black boy and a white boy just get in the car, and I seen the white boy come out with the gun in his hand.
What kind of vehicle?
It's like a beat up, old school looking Toyota Camry. And he came out the door, he said, I told them just don't play with me. Was it a black boy or a white boy that got shot?
White guy got shot.
Ooh,
The one that lived there.
with the tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always going I back and forth.
With different people?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that car in the area before, that white guy?
Always there.
The camera's always there?
Yeah.
Neighbors quickly gave them reason to doubt Alyssa's version. Witnesses described seeing a black sedan pull up, 2 men get out, and at least one of them head toward the house armed. They also reported hearing gunshots and seeing the men leave right afterward. That already made the idea of Alyssa simply returning from a walk and discovering the aftermath seem much harder to believe.
She was in that fucking house. So she did it? No. Bristol got a witness saying that they observed a white male run out of the house with a gun. Oh, okay.
This house is not just 2 days lived in.
Hang on. Right.
There's other people that live there.
Right.
So who are they?
That's when deputies began noticing a very important detail. The house looked lived in by more people than Alyssa initially admitted, which suggested there were likely other witnesses, other people moving through the home, and probably a lot more going on inside that house than she had first let on.
If I ask if lives here and she says no, she's lying. Why would she lie? Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. Does anybody else live here with you and Jesse?
I don't know who lives here and who don't, because there's people here all in and out all the time. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's a dude named, I mean, he sleeps on the couch sometimes, I guess. I don't know. Because he was like, I've been letting you stay here because he stayed in tip. But the way they were talking, it sounded like he just got here. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't been there that long.
Eventually, Alyssa begins to crack, admitting that one of Jesse's friends had also been living in the house with them. That detail immediately caught investigators' attention, because this person could potentially be another witness to the shooting, or even a suspect. Deputy Davidson pressed Alyssa for more information about the man, but she offered little else. And with no clear lead to follow, the investigation at the scene began to stall. At that point, deputies knew only a few things for certain. 2 unidentified men had arrived at the house, shot Jesse, and fled in a black Toyota Camry. They had also learned that several people had been staying in the home with Alyssa and Jesse, opening the door to the possibility of additional witnesses or additional suspects. What they also knew was that Alyssa's story had already changed several times, making her account increasingly unreliable. With the on-scene investigation reaching its limits, Jesse fighting for his life at the hospital, and Alyssa still the only direct witness, detectives decided the next step was unavoidable. She needed to be formally questioned. Deputies also learned that Jesse survived long enough to give some information at the scene, and that his injuries had come from a targeted attack rather than some random burst of gunfire. Officers also began to suspect the shooting earlier that morning and the later attacks were connected, with the same house apparently being targeted twice in one day. But the deeper they looked into Alyssa, the more suspicious her behavior became. They were starting to consider the possibility that she had helped set the whole thing in motion. So, about an hour later, Alyssa and her mother were transported to the police station and placed in an interrogation room, while detectives gathered the evidence deputies had collected at the scene. Alyssa didn't know it yet, but this interrogation was about to go far worse than she could have ever imagined.
I swear to God! I swear to God! Don't touch me! Don't you touch me! There's no reason they have to talk to us by themselves. There's a camera in here. There's audio in here. We can hear everything.
Yeah.
There's no reason they have to talk to us by themselves.
You're right.
I thought you were David Preston.
David Preston, you know David? How do you know him?
Experience.
Experience?
Yes.
I got in trouble. Only 2 times I've been in trouble. I didn't want to be good.
Gotcha. Well, I'm investigating Martinez. I work with David, so I know. Yeah. That being said, we want to get some information as far as like how long you guys been living there, who lives
Like
there.
2 days, 2-3 days ago. We just got there. I don't, like, if I had my phone, I could tell you exactly, but they wouldn't let me get my phone.
Okay.
I know, but it wasn't I can't remember where it was, but.
Okay. And the only reason I'm asking is because, like I said, we have to get a search warrant in order to get the house.
Okay.
So once we get into the house and we look around, if something's missing, like his cell phone,
Yeah.
then maybe we can possibly start trying to track it and find it.
Okay.
Sure.
No, I'm not going to question you at all.
So that's why I was asking, I'm not asking like to pry, but maybe
You're good.
something's missing and maybe we can track it and be like,
I know y'all are just trying to help for real. I'm not that type of person. I know y'all are just trying to help.
Okay. All right. So it's just you and Jesse that live in that house?
No, there's 2 males there and there's Jesse. But there's people in and out of there all the time, you know what I mean? I mean, it's like literally like a ghetto trap, kind of like out. You know, you haven't seen the house, but the whole house is like trashed almost. I tried to clean it up and I mopped the floors and kind of stuff like that because I have nowhere to go. But there's a dude named Ian for sure. I know because he sleeps on the couch, and I know he was getting help from somebody. The dude who lives there, I guess, around a regular, trying to get off of drugs.
Okay. Is he a black male, white male?
He's white.
Okay.
Yeah, he's tall. He's real tall. He's like real tall to me. I'm like 5 foot.
Alyssa suddenly confirmed that 2 other people had been staying in the house, adding that people were constantly coming and going. Something that could point to drug activity. More importantly, she mentioned one of the roommates by name. If investigators could track him and the other roommate down, they wouldn't have to rely solely on Alyssa's version of events, especially since it was already clear she wasn't telling the full truth. So detectives continued questioning her, hoping she would reveal another name. And she did. Alyssa also revealed that earlier that day, she had been picked up by a friend driving a black car, the same kind of vehicle neighbors had described seeing at the scene of the shooting. That detail suddenly made the driver of that car incredibly important. Investigators now had a clear priority: identify who that man was.
What's his name, the guy that come and got you?
I don't know him. That's what I'm saying.
Well, how'd you call him?
Jesse, I didn't call him. I said I didn't call him.
Oh, he just showed up at the house?
Yeah, my brother knows him and Jesse knows him and all kind of stuff like that. Like, he comes around all the time and hangs out with him. I don't associate myself with people that he does. I'm not allowed to even be at the house by myself.
Is he white or black?
He's white, for sure.
Can you describe him to us?
Well, he's kind of ghetto.
I know he's ghetto. He's got tattoos.
Yeah.
You can tell he's been to jail.
20s, 30s?
At least like his late 20s.
Even with the vague description, detectives were now able to narrow the suspect down to a white male in his late 20s, with tattoos, who had been driving the black Camry. Along with the other details they had collected, it was enough to begin actively searching for him. But before the interview could end, detectives still had to deliver the tragic update about Jesse.
I did just get off the phone with the doctor's office, and he did not survive.
You're lying.
swear to God. I swear to God. No! Don't touch it! Don't you touch me! Where's my dad?
Why he's not here?
We can't leave. Can I leave? I swear to God, he did. You swear to God! No!
Jesse Geoghegan had passed away. Alyssa appeared devastated when detectives told her. But as the investigation continued, officers began to question whether that reaction was genuine, because the evidence would soon suggest a much darker possibility, that the emotion they witnessed might have been nothing more than an act.
Yeah, we can get you out of here. Raise your right hand. Somebody killed your boy.
Yeah, I called the police! I tried to save his life! I tried to make him do better, bro! I tried, I'm the only one who gave a about him! No, I'm being serious, you don't get it! No, not nobody, I'm the only one who called the police when he overdosed! Twice, not even his mom again, all by myself!
At this point, detectives still weren't sure exactly what Alyssa was hiding. But the interviews that followed would begin to reveal the truth. Investigators soon located one of Jesse and Alyssa's roommates. At first, he ignored calls from detectives, possibly hoping to avoid getting involved. But when he finally agreed to talk, he delivered the biggest breakthrough in the case.
Colville showed up with his two kids in the car and got out and started an altercation with Jesse. And this is all over a female. This is all over a girl. What's her name? Alyssa Blackburn. I guess Colville's in love with his girlfriend or something. I'm not even sure who the girl liked, if she liked either of them or not. And I thought they were supposed to be friends. But no, as soon as the girl comes out of the house and says Jesse's inside, they didn't hesitate to, should we leave it? No, they went right inside my house. And they go down the hallway and they look through the first room, look through the second room, and I'm at this point I'm playing stupid. I'm like, what's going on, guys? I don't know what's going on. I wasn't watching. I did not have my head turned towards down the hallway, but there was two gunshots, and I hear screaming. And there's two gunshots, and then by the time I look down the hallway, I see Colville backing up, like with the guns on Jesse, and Jesse looked like he had blood right here, maybe like in the stomach, and then in the chest or the shoulder, and even when he was on the ground, he shot another couple rounds, I believe. How many rounds total? I can't.
Quite a few.
Yeah, I can't even tell you. Whenever Colville and the black guy run out the front door, they took off.
What happened to the DVR?
I could bring it. I could show it to you.
You have it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And there's the camera in the living room.
Yeah, I noticed.
According to him, the man who pulled the trigger was 29-year-old Jacob Colville, the same friend Alyssa had mentioned earlier. This information concluded the murder likely stemmed from a conflict between Jesse and Jacob that escalated earlier that day. Alyssa was at the center of the dispute, forming a love triangle that turned deadly. Investigators now believed she hadn't simply witnessed the crime. She had helped set it in motion. But maybe even more important, the house had a security system, and the entire shooting had been captured on surveillance video. With the shooter identified and video evidence in hand, the investigation moved quickly. Detectives also identified the second suspect as Lawrence Bonner Jr., who had allegedly supplied the gun used in the murder. Meanwhile, the black Toyota connected to the attack was discovered burned beneath a bridge, likely an attempt to destroy evidence and cover their tracks. But the detectives weren't finished. Another roommate confirmed something even more damaging. Alyssa had been inside the house during the attack and had helped the gunman find Jesse. In other words, the woman who claimed she had just come home to find her boyfriend shot had allegedly helped set the entire thing up. Soon after, police arrested Lawrence Bonner.
We want to know why he reached out to you, what he told you, because we already know you participated there. We know you didn't pull a trigger. But at this point, you literally have one opportunity to talk about this, otherwise you are, and I'm going to be very straight with you.
And if you want to see the video.
Yeah, we'll show you the video if you want to see it.
I'll show it. Okay.
You text,
they just asked if I wanted it.
Perfect.
How is this going to help me though, man?
Why? Because you didn't pull the trigger. I mean, I see your face in there.
But I'm still.
I mean, you acting like, what the going on?
I'm still going to end up going to jail.
You are going to go to jail, but the difference is whether if you decide to be honest and to help out, and then hopefully the courts will show leniency that you've helped out and you've been honest, that ship went down fast or however it went down. But not saying nothing, that video makes you look guilty as hell, bro.
It's cute.
You ready?
He looking for him, ain't found him yet. Oh, there you go. Oh, he dropped his pistol. Trying to get on him. You're like, what the Here, hold this gun. There you go. Now give me that gun. There you go. Oh, let me go ahead and finish him off right here. Snap. Snap.
Well, wait, he's not done yet, though.
Oh, shit, my gun. Let me get it. Oh, damn. Oh, let me give him one more, which he did right there.
So now you know we're not bullshitting. Which
Hey, can I talk to my girl, man? Can I talk to y'all, man?
Under pressure from the video evidence, he admitted he had been involved and confirmed that Alyssa had been present during the shooting. The final suspect, Jacob Colville, was captured about a week later in Florida after attempting to disguise himself with a wig and glasses. The case eventually went to trial. In June 2024, a jury found Colville guilty of first-degree premeditated murder, and he was sentenced to life in prison for killing 26-year-old Jesse Giagagan. Alyssa Blackburn and Lawrence Bonner were also charged as principals in the murder. Both remained jailed without bond, while their cases continued through the courts. What began as a frantic story about a random drive-by shooting ultimately turned out to be something far darker, a betrayal carried out by people Jesse knew, and possibly orchestrated by the very person who first claimed she was trying to save him. Some killers panic, some lie, and some walk past a camera carrying a weapon like they have nothing to fear. That's exactly what happened in the next case. This CCTV footage was recorded in Bradford, England, in May 2010. It shows a man walking calmly through a hallway, holding a crossbow. As he passes the camera, he briefly looks directly into the lens and deliberately raises his middle finger, fully aware that he is being recorded. At the time, no one watching the footage realized the true significance of that moment, but the image would later become one of the most chilling pieces of surveillance footage in modern British criminal history. The man in the video was later identified as Stephen Griffiths, a criminology student who would soon become known in the media as the crossbow cannibal. Between 2009 and 2010, 3 women disappeared in the Bradford area. At first, their disappearances seemed unrelated, but as the investigation developed, police began to suspect a pattern. This CCTV clip was captured shortly after one of those incidents, though its importance was not immediately understood. What makes the footage especially disturbing is the calmness of the moment. Griffiths is not running. He does not attempt to hide the weapon he is carrying. Instead, he casually acknowledges the camera, almost as if he knows he will be seen. As more women were reported missing across the city, police launched a major investigation. Detectives reviewed countless hours of surveillance footage, collected witness statements, and examined forensic evidence, trying to identify whoever was responsible. The breakthrough came when investigators took a closer look at this very clip. By tracing the location of the camera, they discovered it was inside an apartment building not far from where the victims had last been seen. That discovery led police directly to Griffiths' apartment. When officers searched the flat, they uncovered weapons and forensic evidence that confirmed their suspicions. Griffiths was arrested without resistance. On December 21st, 2010, he appeared at Leeds Crown Court, where he pleaded guilty to all 3 murders. That same day, he was sentenced to life imprisonment with a whole life order, meaning he will never be eligible for parole. Stephen Griffiths remains incarcerated in England to this day. But the most important part of this story is not the man captured in the footage or the disturbing image that circulated across the media. It is the lives that were lost. The 3 women whose lives were taken are the ones who deserve to be remembered. Now, at least the man in this case was identified. The figure in the next one never was. And sometimes, that uncertainty is what makes a clip even harder to shake. On September 9th, 2017, a homeowner in Eureka, California, was suddenly awakened when his doorbell rang at around 2 a.m. At first, it seemed like nothing more than a strange late-night disturbance. But when he checked the footage from his doorbell security camera, what he saw left him completely stunned. Standing silently in front of his house was a strange figure that appeared to have been there for some time. At first, the shape is difficult to make out in the darkness, but after a moment, the figure slowly steps forward. As it moves closer to the camera, the image becomes clearer, revealing what appears to be a person dressed as a clown, holding a cluster of balloons. The clown pauses for a moment, slightly bends forward, and stares directly into the camera. Then, without saying a word, it calmly turns and walks away into the night. Understandably shaken, the homeowner contacted authorities. The sight was particularly disturbing because, at the time, the town had already been whispering about similar strange sightings happening late at night. Some residents even claimed they had seen a mysterious clown-like figure wandering through neighborhoods after dark. Those rumors only added to the unease. What made the situation even more unsettling is that the incident happened during the height of what many people called the killer clown scare. Throughout 2016 and into 2017, reports began appearing across the United States of people dressed as clowns standing outside homes, schools, and wooded areas, often late at night, silently watching or trying to lure people closer. While many of those sightings were later dismissed as pranks, some led to police investigations and widespread panic in several communities. In a time when stories like that were already circulating, seeing a clown standing silently outside your home at 2 o'clock in the morning would have been enough to send chills down anyone's spine. As far as public information shows, authorities were never able to identify the person inside the costume. Whether it was simply a prank, someone trying to frighten residents, or something else entirely, remains unknown. But one question still lingers. If people in your neighborhood started reporting sightings like this, would you still feel safe walking outside at night? What you just saw may have been a prank, a threat, or something stranger. But the next footage is real in a different way. It's the last confirmed sighting of a missing boy. It's the last known CCTV sighting of Andrew Gosden. Andrew was just 14 years old in September of 2007. Friends and family described him as quiet, intelligent, and independent. He was a gifted student with a strong interest in music and video games, and by all accounts he was responsible and reliable. There had never been any indication that he might run away. Then one ordinary morning, everything changed. On September 14th, 2007, Andrew left his home in Doncaster, England, without telling anyone where he was going. Instead of going to school, he walked to the train station and used money he had carefully saved to buy a one-way ticket to London. The ticket clerk even offered him a return ticket for just a small additional cost. Andrew declined. Later that day, CCTV cameras captured him arriving at King's Cross Station in London. The footage shows him calmly walking through the station, carrying his bag and blending into the crowd around him. There is no visible panic. No one appears to be guiding him. Nothing about the moment suggests danger. But that short clip would become the last confirmed sighting of Andrew Gosden. After that moment, he vanished. Andrew never used his bank account again. His phone was never switched back on. He never contacted friends or family. Despite years of investigation, public appeals, and extensive media coverage, no verified evidence has ever explained where Andrew went after leaving the station, or why he traveled to London that day in the first place. Over the years, investigators have explored many possibilities, including grooming, exploitation, voluntary disappearance, or accidental harm. In 2021, 2 men were arrested in connection with the investigation, but no charges were ultimately brought. Andrew Gosden remains missing. More than 15 years later, his disappearance is still one of the most haunting, unsolved cases in the United Kingdom. A quiet morning, a one-way ticket, a single frame of CCTV footage, and a question that has never stopped troubling those who remember him. What happened after Andrew walked out of that station? Andrew's footage is haunting because nothing in it looks obviously wrong. The next clip is the opposite. The danger is immediate, violent, and impossible to miss.
Chilling video was recorded by a doorbell camera at a home here in Arcadia, California, about 20 miles from Los Angeles. The owner sent the footage to cops. They searched the neighborhood and say they found a woman being held captive inside this home right around the corner.
6 years ago in Arcadia, California, a doorbell camera captured a moment that quickly left viewers disturbed and confused. In the footage, a woman can be seen running toward the front door of a house, desperately banging on it and screaming for help. Her panic is immediate and unmistakable, as if she is trying to escape something or someone. Just seconds later, a man suddenly appears behind her. He grabs the woman and drags her back toward the street while moving in a strange, uncontrolled way. His movements look erratic, almost unnatural, and the woman's screams echo through the neighborhood. For anyone watching the footage, it's a terrifying scene that unfolds in just a matter of seconds. Neighbors quickly called the authorities, and police arrived shortly afterward. The man was taken into custody before the situation could escalate any further. But what investigators later discovered made the case even more complicated. According to reports, the man was suffering from a rare dissociative disorder, a condition that can cause severe breaks in perception, memory, or identity. When he was later shown the doorbell footage of the incident, he reportedly broke down and insisted he never meant to hurt anyone. To him, the entire moment felt like something he could barely remember. Cases like this leave people with difficult questions. Was this simply the tragic result of a serious mental health condition? Or was there something else going on during those few disturbing moments captured on camera? Even years later, people still debate what really happened that night. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And while you're doing that, we move on to CCTV that captured a chilling home invasion attempt at a remote farmhouse on the night of August 19, 2013, near Schweitzer Reneka in South Africa's northwest province. The footage shows several armed intruders moving quietly through the house in the dark, searching room by room. They move carefully, scanning each area as they advance deeper into the home. At one point, they reach the hallway that leads directly to the family's bedroom. But just before reaching the room, they are stopped by something they hadn't expected: a reinforced steel security door. The barrier prevents them from entering. Despite their attempts, the intruders are unable to force their way through. Eventually, realizing they cannot reach the family inside, they retreat and leave the property. Inside the room, the family remained unharmed, but the footage would leave a lasting impact. The following day, after reviewing the security recordings and seeing just how close the intruders had come, the family realized something unsettling. The sense of safety they once felt living on that remote farm was gone. And so, not long after the incident, they made a difficult decision. Rather than continue living in a place that no longer felt secure, they chose to leave the property entirely. Their life and work on the farm came to an end, not because the attack succeeded, but because the feeling of safety had been taken away. Now, after something as real as armed intruders inside a home, the next video moves into something stranger, a house where even the cats seemed to sense that something was wrong. A family had decided to leave their cats alone at home for a single night while they were away. When they returned the next day, something about their pets immediately felt strange. The cats were unusually alert, pacing around the house and staring at areas where nothing appeared to be there. Curious about what might have happened during the night, the family decided to check their home's CCTV cameras. What they saw left them deeply unsettled. In the footage, one of the cats suddenly stands upright on its hind legs, looking around the room as if it is watching something move nearby. Cats are known for reacting to subtle movements or sounds that humans cannot easily detect, but the behavior in the video seemed unusually intense. Then something even stranger appears. A dark shadow seems to slip quietly into the room. The second cat immediately turns its attention toward the same direction and begins following it, almost as if something invisible had entered the house. Moments later, a small table beside the cat begins to shake slightly on its own. Then the door slowly starts to close. Finally, the camera itself shifts its view toward the wall, as if something had nudged or moved it. After watching the footage several times, the family became convinced that their pets had been reacting to something supernatural inside the house. Animals have long been associated with sensing things humans cannot perceive. Throughout history, many cultures have believed that cats in particular are sensitive to spiritual energy or unseen presences. While science often explains such behavior through heightened hearing or environmental changes, moments like these still leave many people wondering whether animals sometimes notice things that remain invisible to us. That footage was unsettling because the cats seemed to sense a presence. In the next clip, it's not the animals that react, it's the object itself. A security guard was reviewing hospital CCTV footage after discovering that a bicycle had been stolen from the parking area. While scanning through the recordings, he suddenly noticed something strange happening near the hospital's emergency ward entrance. A wheelchair sitting in the hallway began to move on its own. At first, the chair slowly rolled forward a short distance, as if someone invisible had pushed it. Then it stopped. A few seconds later, it began rolling backward. The guard stared at the screen, trying to understand what he was seeing. There was no one nearby, no staff members walking past, and nothing visible touching the chair. When he showed the footage to his supervisor, the explanation he received only made the moment feel even stranger. According to the supervisor, the wheelchair had belonged to a patient who had recently passed away in the hospital only days earlier. The supervisor half-jokingly suggested that the movement might have been caused by the restless spirit of the former patient. Hospitals are often surrounded by stories like this. Because they are places where life, death, and intense emotion intersect, they frequently become the focus of ghost stories and paranormal claims. While there may be logical explanations for the movement, such as slight slopes in the floor or air currents, the image of an empty wheelchair rolling through a silent hospital hallway is still enough to leave many viewers with chills. An empty wheelchair moving on its own is hard enough to explain, but the next security guard saw something maybe even harder to forget. A security guard working the night shift at a cemetery in Penang, Malaysia, once experienced something he would never forget. Cemeteries are quiet places during the day, but at night they can feel completely different. The rows of graves sit in darkness, broken only by the narrow beam of a flashlight and the sounds of the surrounding wind and trees. While walking through the cemetery grounds during his patrol, the guard suddenly noticed something unusual moving between the graves. In the distance, he saw what looked like a small child. The figure appeared to be dressed in white, with long, messy hair hanging down over its face. Of course, the guard assumed it must be a child who had somehow wandered into the cemetery late at night. Concerned, he ran toward the figure. But before he could get close enough to speak, the childlike shape suddenly vanished among the tombstones. Confused, the guard stopped and searched the area with his flashlight. For a moment, There was nothing there. Then, several meters away, his flashlight beam caught the same figure again, standing silently at a distance. He rushed toward it once more. But again, when he reached the spot, there was nothing there. Shaken by what he had seen, the guard continued his shift, even though he had rather left his work immediately. But to his surprise, he never encountered the figure again. Experiences like this are often linked to local folklore. In many parts of Southeast Asia, stories about spirits wandering graveyards are deeply rooted in traditional beliefs. Figures dressed in white are commonly associated with restless spirits or supernatural entities said to appear at night. Whether it was a real person disappearing into the darkness or something far more mysterious, the guard remained convinced that what he had seen that night was not entirely human. Now, while some encounters happen in places people already expect to be eerie, this last one happened somewhere much more ordinary, which somehow makes it creepier. Late one night, a man was working at a convenience store in Houston, Texas. The store was quiet, with only the faint hum of refrigerators and fluorescent lights filling the empty aisles. Everything seemed completely normal, until suddenly, 2 packs of snacks flew off a shelf and crashed onto the floor. The items did not simply slide or fall. According to the footage, they appeared to be pushed outward, as if invisible hands had thrown them. Startled by what he had just witnessed, the worker immediately remembered something his co-workers had mentioned when he first started working there. They had jokingly warned him that strange things sometimes happened in the store during the night shift. At the time, he had laughed it off. But standing there alone, watching objects move without explanation, those warnings suddenly felt much less like jokes. Rather than investigating further, the man quickly ran out of the store, leaving everything behind. Incidents like this often spark debate online, with some people suggesting possible explanations like vibrations, structural movement, or air pressure changes. Others believe such moments could be examples of what paranormal researchers sometimes call poltergeist activity, where objects appear to move on their own. Whatever the cause, the worker clearly decided it was not something he wanted to investigate alone. Now that was all for today, folks. If you enjoyed these horrifying clips, click to see more on the video on screen.